So Maharaj is only 2 minutes away, so please remain standing. Shri Radhanath Swami Maharaj ki Jai. Hare Krishna. Please everybody be seated. Hare Krishna. So, few quick announcements. Welcome everybody to this evening's program. In the Shastras it is said that Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Shastra Goy, Lavamantra Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Siddhi Goy. So today we got so many sadhus here. We got his name as Chandra Maharaj, his name is Radha Maharaj. Maharaj is very busy. But still, more and more we are having these disciple meetings. So we thank Maharaj for having these meetings. Today is also a special day. 25th March 2017, exactly 46 years ago, on this day, in the Pandal in Bombay, Srila Prabhupada, Maharaj first time met Srila Prabhupada. And from a huge crowd, as you know the story, Prabhupada invited Maharaj, and Maharaj tried to touch the feet of Srila Prabhupada, and somebody tried to stop it, Prabhupada said, no, this is all right. So today is a very special occasion, and plus we are having this meeting. So let us all take advantage of this meeting. I have been asked to say a few things. Donations. So his Karthik Chandra Prabhu is at the end. So if there are any donations, please give to him. He's on the table right at the end. Please do not use the main big hall. We will not pay for it apparently, if it is we will be charged if it is dirty. Okay? The only other thing is there's a presentation at the end for the rice people are going to make a presentation at the end. So I think that is lovely welcome. His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj, chanting 3 times. And to add to the ecstasy, today we got His Holiness Chandramani Maharaj. Let us loudly welcome His Holiness Chandramani Maharaj.
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari
Yamuna
Grateful to be with you. Thank you for coming this evening. I really do not know where we are, but I'm so happy to be here. Because the joy of life is not so much where we are. Discussing yesterday how we came down for the Radhanath Swami marriage ceremony. When Ram was going to the forest for 14 years of exile, he commanded Sita to remain in Ayodhya, in the shelter of his parents, a beautiful palace. He was going to go alone. The old babies are crying. Don't you think Ram is going to the forest alone? Here's the great emotion. We're also supposed to be crying when we do this. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he was in South India, there was that Brahmin who would not eat. He was making prasad for Lord Chaitanya, but he would not eat. And Lord Chaitanya said, why are you not eating? He said, how can I eat when Sita is abducted by Ram? How can I possibly eat anything when she's being tortured? Chaitanya, he couldn't get him to eat. But finally he convinced him because he found a place in the pool of Purana, and he actually had to get the original manuscript to show him. But actually it was the illusory Sita that he kidnapped. Sita was always with Ram. He said, all right, then I will eat. Similarly, Maharaj Kulashekar, one of the great authors of the Sri Sampradaya, this year is the 1000th birthday of Rameshashaya. It's coming up in very soon. It's in April, I believe. The Kulashekar who lived long ago, he was a king. And he would have Brahmins read from the Ramayana to him. But they had to be very selective what they read. Because
Hanukkah is not based on historical, chronological timeline. Krishna's pastimes, Rama's pastimes, they are eternal. And just as Krishna is ever present when we chant his name with sincerity, humility, and faith, in the word servant of the servant of the servant. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur explained, when we chant Krishna's name in that way, in his name, Krishna manifests himself fully. His beauty, his sweetness, his power, his pastimes, his associates, his abode. Similarly, Krishna Katha, when we are actually absorbed in hearing, we're there in that pastime. There's a famous story that I heard ever since about 1972. I heard this story. I agree with one of our dear godfathers who told this story. He said in 1966, she broke up to a few devotees that were 26 Avenue to the Anand Ashram. It's in upstate New York. It's about an hour and a half, 2 hours from New York City. And Hare was sitting outside in this very nice lawn. And he had a dream that Krishna was speaking Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna. Then suddenly the dream changed, and Srila Prabhupada was speaking Bhagavad Gita to Anagriva. And he told the dream to Prabhupada. And he said, the feeling I had in that dream, that there was no difference between Krishna speaking to Arjuna and you speaking to me. Srila Prabhupada smiled. He said, you have understood correctly. Whenever we pick up Bhagavad Gita to read or hearing in a Bhagavad Gita class, or when we're hearing through our own mouth and we're speaking, if it's with faith, humility, devotion, service attitude, then the reality is we're there. We're at the Jyotis are, the place in Kurukshetra where Bhagavad Gita was spoken. Because Bhagavad Gita historically was spoken approximately 5,000 years ago, but on a spiritual level, it's been spoken everywhere in the world wherever anyone is hearing with faith. If you're absorbed, Krishna tells, as you surrender to me, I reveal myself accordingly. If we surrender our hearts to hear these beautiful stories of Srimad Bhagavatam, we're there. If we're hearing the narration, the fact is we are there. It's just according to our receptivity that we can appreciate, understand, realize it. So that's what I was actually speaking about, like babies crying. When I said that Ram stays out to the forest for 2 years and they're crying, King Kurukshetra, when he would hear Ramayana, he was there. It wasn't something long ago. He was in the past. And because of that, he would react so emotionally, so spiritually. And very selectively only read the happy parts to him. The one time the leader of the Brahmins who were reading to him, he had to go for some mission. And one of his assistants, he forgot about that rule. And he read about Sita crying for Ram in Sri Lanka in separation. Kulashekar picked up his sword and told his entire army that we are going to attack Sri Lanka. I cannot tolerate that Rama has stole Sita. Rama shouldn't have to go there. We will go there. We will get Sita. He ordered his generals. Sometimes leaders you have to follow what they say. So all the generals, they knew that this happened in a previous yuga. But still, he was commanding, get the armies, I will lead the charge. There were hundreds of thousands of soldiers on horses and chariots and elephants and all their weapons, and he led the charge, and they all followed. They were thinking, because they knew what they were doing. They were going to Sri Lanka, rescue Sita. And still, they had to please their king. They charged throughout so much of South India. They came to the ocean. There was no bridge. And he was so enthusiastic, he got off his horse and ran right into the ocean with his sword raised. And demanded his armies to follow him. For those who have experienced the oceans, it gets deeper and deeper as you go in. And he was fighting, and he was up to his head, and he was over his head. All it was just his sword. And he somehow or other, just his eyes could see. And he was going to run all the way to Sri Lanka underwater. That was his motive. Everybody else stopped at the shore. They didn't have his faith. They were just watching. And because he was about to die from being drowned, Ram and Lakshman and Sita all incarnated in the ocean. They said to Kulashekar Maharaj, Ram said, you can go back. Look, I have Sita. I already know the war. I already killed Rama. And I already killed Kumbhakarna and his son and everybody else. And look, Sita's with me. And Sita, and he was serious to save his life. He had to be convinced. Sita said, I'm safe, I'm happy, I'm rescued, I'm happy. And then we said, oh, he was so happy. And Mom actually had to lift him out of the water and carry him back to the shore. So you may think that this is an impossible kind of story. If Lord Ramchandra could create all the universes, he could create all of us, such miracles. He could be seated in every person's heart, which lies out of one time. He could illuminate lights. And what the Lord does for his devotees. That is the essence of all Dharma. Saratvam Sankaro Dharma Yato Bhaktir Bhakshate Ahvitya Pratihata Yagata Suprasi. The Supreme Dharma is unmotivated, unconditional loving service to the Supreme, to Shri Krishna. Where is the origin of that Dharma? Radha Krishna Paramaya Kirta Dini Shakti. The Dharma is in God Himself. God is one. not in historical way, in tough, in divine truth, that one supreme is eternally separated as two. As Radha, Krishna, Sitaram, Lakshmi Narayana, the Shakti and the Shaktima, for the purpose of loving exchanges. Krishna's love for his devotees and the devotees' love for Krishna. That's the highest subject of all philosophy, the deepest, most inclusive truth of all scriptures. And the complete revelation of the eternal nature of the soul. Today we have so many wonderful devotees who are giving their lives. We have my very senior elder god sisters, Mandakini, Devi. We all know her story. It all began here in London. Is there a room where those babies can have guys come to the top of the There's a room over there. They can pray, they can dance, and really have no restrictions. I'm actually talking to the mothers, not the baby. That's a special saving for them. Thank you, thank you. It's hard to concentrate because they're so sweet. I speak, but I just want to listen to them. It's amazing. The question of community population is expanding. It's like a pilgrimage. What was I talking about?
Mandakini. Yes, Mandakini.
It was here in London. She was praying to Radhanath. Please, I want to serve my guru. I want to surrender to Srila Prabhupada. I want a personal instruction from him. Please give me the strength. He gives me instruction. I will follow it. Yes? Is it like that? And Prabhupada came and asked her if she would be willing to go to Russia and get married. And the other country. It's very dangerous. She went. for 40 and 50 years they've given their heart, souls, and lives in worship service. In 1965, Srila Prabhupada came to the West. It was in about 1989. I was in Mumbai at the house of Arvind Mahatma. He was the same age as my father. We were really, really good friends. We were sitting in this little library room talking. His son, Krishna Chandra Prabhu, talking about and we were arranging prasad and everything. And we were sitting and we talked for a couple hours. And I asked him about his relationship with Srila Prabhupada. He told me in 1965, Srila Prabhupada came to his house, sat in the same library. I'll get back to this story. Some years later, Srila Prabhupada's diary was published. And if you look at the diary, it has a copy of Prabhupada's exact handwriting. April 5th, 1965, Srila Prabhupada writes, Inquire Mahatma. In May 6th, 1965, Srila Prabhupada writes to visit Mahatma. So he told me it was at that time, in April or May 1965, this is about 3 to 4 months before he boarded the charter. He was sitting in that same room. He was telling me about their conversation. He said, and then he gave me the Srimad Bhagavatam, which he had just struggled so much to get out. He said, he gave them? He said, with his own hands he gave it. And of course, he said, I gave donation. I said, do you still have those Srimad Bhagavatams? No, that was about 24 years later. He said, to be honest, I never looked at them since he gave them to me. But they might be in my library somewhere. It was not a big library, it was just one wall. A couple hundred books on it. So we searched and searched. We discovered 3 volumes of Prabhupada's Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto. It's brown covers, and Prabhupada's English is really beautiful because it's unedited. He says things like Krishna is too much beautiful. And the cover is not Bhagavatam, it's Bhagavatam. The originals, each one was touched by Prabhupada's hand and given him the love and devotion to his son. Just to touch them, just to see them. Those Srimad Bhagavatams, they were really cheaply published, sort of binding. You know, after you 2 months ago, I was at our Govardhan Eco Village. And I was sitting in a humble replica of Srila Prabhupada's rooms that we have at our Radhanath temple. The idea of this Vrindavan forest at Govardhan Eco Village is to remember Vrindavan down in separation, to remember the original Vrindavan, Krishna's pastimes, the great Acharya's pastimes, the holy places, and to try to be absorbed in that. As we were speaking, wherever we're absorbed, on a spiritual level, we're actually there. In the Mata Lila of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Srila Prabhupada writes in a purport that the Bhava Vrindavan, the Vrindavan of this world, is none different than Goloka Vrindavan in the spiritual world. And then he says something. He said, we have established our new Vrindavan, which is none different than Goloka Vrindavan. And when that came out in 1975, I was living in Vrindavan, so the words new Vrindavan is really very happy. And they were calling it constantly. We are none different than Goloka Vrindavan. We are so fortunate. We are not different than Goloka Vrindavan. And if you read the rest of the purport, because of worshiping Krishna with unalloyed devotion, and anywhere in the world, in any time, in any home where Krishna is being worshipped with unalloyed devotion, that is not different than Goloka Vrindavan. But that part, nobody was talking about. That's the best part. Wherever we are. Vrindavan, Tashtani Krishna said, that's wherever my devotees are gathered together to chant my name, I'm there. Personally, directly. It's just our receptivity to understand, to appreciate, to realize that based on our surrender and our faith, how we're taking shelter and absorbing ourselves in Krishna. So our little Vrindavan forest, we're trying to make it like Vrindavan, so that we can just be there and absorb ourselves in the healing of Vrindavan and the Goswami's temples and the places of the Leelas. And if we're absorbed, we're there. If we're absorbed here in London, as I said, I don't know where we are. We're in Vrindavan, even if we don't know where we are. But together, we're hearing and chanting in absorption of faith. We try to make a replica of Srila Prabhupada's quarters at Radhanath temple. Exact dimensions, discovered old photos. We tried to make it exactly when Prabhupada was living there before he came to the West. Got an old rope bed, and the same kind of walls, the same light fixtures, and the same light switches. We tried to make that. And Srila Prabhupada writes, and I think Sanskrit Swami Maharaj writes, and Prabhupada understood that he had a place just upon where he would hide his passport in. And we made that just, you have to lift up the stone She said, it wasn't on that side, it was on this side. So these boys were so serious about making it identical that they had changed all the story around to put it in. There's nothing there. You can just push it and move it. So I was sitting there about 2 months ago, and I was seeing through the broadcast, Morty, PhD, reflecting on being a Radhanath Temple Shri. Because we're actually there if we have that consciousness. So I was thinking, how historical that was. Because that's where he did his translations and also his purports to the first volume of Srimad Bhagavatam. In his writing Srimad Bhagavatam, he's prepared himself to go to the West. As soon as he completed that, he had them published. That's when he stepped on the Java Gita and made all of his plans to go. But he wanted to carry with him the crest jewel of all the Vedic literatures. Because this is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission. About these lines that he told Sri Prabhupada in 1922. That he should take the message of Lord Chaitanya to the Western world and teach it in the English language. And he took that as his life and soul. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's message was the message of Srimad Bhagavatam. He was the very personification of Srimad Bhagavatam. His pastimes were a commendation of Srimad Bhagavatam. There was a Radhanath temple in 1959, 1960, when he came soon after. When he began his great mission of translating the writing purport for Srimad Bhagavatam, he began it with an extensive description of Lord Chaitanya's pastimes. A summary of Lord Chaitanya's whole life. Usually the introduction to a book is not that long. But that's how he began. Because Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself. The combination of Srimad Bhagavatam's pastimes of Sri Krishna and Vrindavan. The combination of his pastimes in Vrindavan is the love of Sri Radha. It's not even directly spoken in Srimad Bhagavatam, but it culminates in Vasudeva. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was Krishna in the mood of Radha, giving Vrindavan, giving their love to the whole world. Yesterday I was speaking with our god sister Astasaki Devi, and she was telling me how somebody from that who was living in Vrindavan at the time, she heard from them that she would go out to beg, not for food, but for paper. We take things cheaply sometimes. As Holy Satsrupa Goswami Maharaj writes, paper was really difficult to get. Because in those days in India, do you like this story? In those days, there was very high taxation for importing anything to India. They didn't want anything imported. If you wanted to buy a car that was manufactured outside of India, it would cost about 5 times as much as it would cost in London. Because somehow or other they were trying to keep their economy very closed for people just to buy things that are from India. And if there was anywhere they wanted to buy things from, it was England. Or America, or anywhere. And because there's so many people in India, and trees are a scarcity in India, paper was strictly under government regulation. You had to get permits from the government to get paper. So if you call those getting paper, it was very difficult. The publishers didn't have money to get them to publish. That's all right there about it. I once met this wonderful sannyasi from Kushisham. His name is Balaram Maharaj. A very humble, gentle, devoted man, devotee of Ram. But he lived in Vrindavan for some time, and he was a very accomplished Ayurvedic doctor. Sometimes he treated you a girl. And he said, when Prabhupada came to where he was, and he would put the food, which was the family for a couple hours. And then we were having prasad. And as we were having prasad, the idea came to my mind, because I forgot about it while I was at their house. It wasn't strategically planned. So I was invited to their house some weeks before, actually. But actually, I invited myself. But as I was just finishing prasad with Krishna Chandra Prabhu, we were taking prasad together, I asked, do you still have that set of Srimad Bhagavatams that Prabhupada personally with his own hands gave your family? The last time I saw them was 1989. And he said, I think they're still there. I'm sure they should still be there. I said, well, if they are, I'm just making a suggestion. Because they're so precious. There's no monetary value that can ever be put on those books. They were given to your family before Prabhupada even went on the Jaladuta. I said, if you please consider discussing with your family that we put those books in his room at the Govardhan Eco Village, so that everyone could see them throughout the world who comes and really feel an absorption that this is where Srila Prabhupada wrote down and performed all of his incredible, compassionate deeds of putting them into these books. And these are books that were touched by his own hands and presented with love. He said, yes, immediately, we will bring them to Ego. No, I said, no, just discuss with your family. He said, we will do it. I said, no, don't do it, just discuss with your family. That was in the night. And the next morning, he brings the whole set of Srimad Bhagavatam to my room at the temple. And then I was thinking, what if somebody steals them? They were safe at his house. So we called one brahmachari who oversees cabinet making at our temple. And I said, can you make a locked, beautiful, simple cabinet that matches Prabhupada's rooms at Radhanath at our temple? And we just kind of wrote like this and took a tape measure. And the books were sitting right there. In about 3 days, the cabinet was made. And we had a wonderful ceremony where we brought those books and put them in their altar. We had arti. First, we presented them to Srila Prabhupada's Murti. So if you come to Govardhan Eco Village, those Srimad Bhagavatams are there. In the story of Srimad Bhagavatam, predominant Krishna's infinite love for Krishna's devotees through his various avatars. It culminates in Vrindavan. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself, who's showing us how to have those relations with each other. We cannot imitate, but we can appreciate. This is what bhakti is all about. Because the tendency in this world is while we're trying to get something, we become distracted from what we're trying to get. Because we become so much diverted to how we're doing it. Atapumbir vijastrestas varana shrama vibhaga shashvanushkitasya dharmasya sansiddhir haritosha. Whatever our occupation, whatever our service, the only purpose in bhakti is to please Krishna. Sometimes we're so absorbed in trying to do our service for Krishna that we forget to please him. And we actually displease him. Especially when we fight with each other. But in Kali Yuga, it's natural to fight with each other. But the fighting should not be with enmity. It should be, even if it's there, it should be with appreciation, to bring people up. It shouldn't discourage us, it should encourage us, whatever we do. It's not that it should not be fighting. Even competition in Krishna consciousness should be with no enmity, with no ego. So Lord Chaitanya taught us I'll give a simple example. It'll probably become more than one example, because I've been living with myself for 66 years, and I know my nature. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu longed and yearned to go to Vrindavan. When he took initiation from Ishwarapuri, that night he ran to Vrindavan. And this voice in the sky told him, you should not go to Vrindavan now, because you descended into the world to establish the Harinam Sankirtan movement, and you were supposed to do it in Navadvip. So you should go to Navadvip and go to Vrindavan later. We are your servants. We're just reminding you. That's what he did. He established the Harinam Sankirtan movement, then he took sannyas, and after taking the vows of sannyas and getting his name, Sri Krishna Chaitanya, from Keshav Bharati Maharaj, Katva, he immediately said, I'm going to Vrindavan. Started running. Everyone went with him. He sent them all back after some time. But Nityananda Prabhu knew the Lord's heart. There's no one that knew Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's heart like Lord Nityananda Prabhu. He's Sri Balaram. Although Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Krishna, in the mood of Sri Radha, was yearning to be in Vrindavan, there was a priority above that. To give happiness to the devotees. Sachimata, his mother, Advaita Charya, Haridas Thakur, Srivas Thakur and his brothers, all these devotees, they were thinking they may never see him again. They were broken-hearted, crying. Nityananda understood in Lord Chaitanya's heart. His ultimate priority is to give pleasure to his devotees. So he brought him to Shantipur. There he met Sachimata and the devotees at Advaita Prabhu's house. His mother, Sachi, she expressed her motherly love. If you go to Vrindavan, it's so far. I'll never hear your pastimes. I'll get no news about you. Just by hearing about you, it will keep me alive. The same Krishna that lives in Vrindavan is living in Puri as Lord Jagannath. And Puri is close by. And people from Navadvip are always going back and forth. I'll hear your news in your pastimes. To please his mother, he didn't go to Vrindavan. He went to Puri. In Puri, he delivered Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. How he delivered Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya is a most beautiful, instructive story. He was the greatest scholar in the world. He was the teacher for the king. When Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was in Navadvip, he is the one who really made Navadvip the high seat of learning for the world. Because there's 6 systems of philosophy. And the pundits, the scholars of Navadvip, had mastered 5 of them. But they could not master Nyaya philosophy. Because there was only one place in the world where the scripture was. And that was in Mithila, the place where Ram and Sita first met and were married. And the scholars there, the pundits, to keep the supremacy of their reputation, they would teach Nyaya, but they would never allow anyone to see the scripture. what to speak of copy it and take it. Sarvabhauma went there, and just by hearing it read, he memorized it. Went back to Navadvip and wrote it all down and taught it perfectly, better than anyone in the world. Then Navadvip was the ultimate place of learning. Queen Prataparudra wanted such a scholar like that in Puri, so he invited him to be the royal guru in Puri. But he was the Mayavadi. He didn't accept the eternal form of Bhagavan. He didn't accept devotion as the ultimate realization. And he couldn't accept Lord Chaitanya being an incarnation. But somehow he really liked Lord Chaitanya because he was so beautiful and so humble. And Sarvabhauma had an argument with Gopinath Acharya, who was his brother-in-law, who was a devotee. Sarvabhauma said to Gopinath Acharya, what is the sampradaya that this Sri Chaitanya took sannyas? He said, Bharati. Sarvabhauma said, well, I could elevate him to the Saraswati sampradaya. Gopinath Acharya could not. You're going to elevate the Supreme Personality of God? What is this audacity? He's God. He doesn't need you to elevate them. Sarvabhauma knew the scriptures, and his students knew the scriptures. Nowhere in the scriptures does it say that he's God. Why are you saying like this? And they got in a debate. Gopinath Acharya was citing evidence, and Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya and his students were citing counter-evidence. And finally Gopinath Acharya said, the reason you can't understand him is because you are just a dried, stale rice cake. That's what your heart is like. Sarvabhauma said, we're just having a friendly discussion. Why are you getting so angry? Gopinath Acharya said, unless the Lord is pleased to reveal himself, you cannot understand him anywhere, in anything. We could read the same scripture. We could chant the same names. We can go to the same place. But if the Lord doesn't reveal himself, we can't understand his presence in truth. Srila Prabhupada explained, bhakti is descending process. By the Lord's own sweet will, he reveals himself. And the Lord tells in Bhagavad Gita when he does that and why he does that. Bhakti mama vijanati. Through devotion, through love, through taking shelter, personally, the Lord reveals himself as he is. Sarvabhauma said to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, you are 24 years old and you're really beautiful. You took sannyas at this age? It's very difficult how you're going to maintain your vows. He was so attractive. Now that's kind of an insult to say that to God. Yes. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Madan Mohan. That means he's so beautiful that he even attracts Kamadev, Cupid. So he's not going to be attracted by Cupid. There's a place in Vrindavan and bank of Yamuna, Madanter, where Kamadev, Cupid, heard about Krishna. And he wanted to test him. And you know, he has arrows. And when he shoots them, they go really deep. They conquer your mind, they conquer your senses. So he took his best of all arrows and aimed it at Krishna. But when he saw Krishna's form, he was so attracted that he fell unconscious. And the arrow fell to the ground. Therefore, Krishna's Madan Mohan. Cupid attracts everybody in this world. Krishna's beauty attracts Cupid. And Sri Radha's Madan Mohan Mohini. Her love attracts and conquers Krishna. Lord Chaitanya is Krishna with the Mahabhav of Sri Radha. And Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya is telling him, unless I teach you Vedanta, you will never be able to continue your vows. Lord Chaitanya, he said, I accept you as my guru. Please teach me. Please protect me. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya said, yes, you come to Jagannath Temple every day and I will instruct you. 7 days, was it? Lord Chaitanya listened. He didn't fall asleep. And Sarvabhauma's philosophy was probably quite boring for a devotee. But out of compassion, he was so respectful, Amanina Manavina, he was wide awake just listening. All day, every day, for 7 days. Sarvabhauma then asked, why are you not asking any questions? I don't know if you understand or don't understand. What is it that's in your mind? Tell me. When he was asked, with Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya's permission, he replied. He said, I heard everything you said. Vedanta Sutra is like the sun. It's shining its rays to give light everywhere. Your explanations were like a dark cloud that completely obscured that light. But he said it with so much affection. So Sarvabhauma didn't get angry. He was shocked. Nobody ever said this to me before. He's the greatest scholar in the world. He's the king's scholar. He made Navadvip famous, and you're from Navadvip. This was impossible. Sarvabhauma said, well, if you have a better idea of what Vedanta is, tell me. And Lord Chaitanya told him. But because he listened for 7 days, Sarvabhauma had to listen for 7. Not 7 days, but he had to listen. And he was transformed. And he accepted Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He accepted Krishna's name, his form, his pastimes, his associates as eternal, beyond Brahman realization. In fact, one morning Sarvabhauma was sleeping in his little room near the Sweta Ganga. It's still there. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came with some Mahaprasad from Jagannath's temple. And he knocked on Sarvabhauma's door. And he was still sleeping. But Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was listening through the door. And of course, he hears everything. Whether we want him to hear or not, he hears. See, he's laughing. Now he's crying. Thank you. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. As soon as he woke up, he cried out, Krishna, Krishna. Lord Chaitanya was so happy. Spontaneously, he's chanting Krishna's name. Then he offered him Jagannath's prasad, and immediately Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya bowed down and started eating the prasad after offering prayers. Lord Chaitanya said, you're a Brahmin. You just broke all your rules. You're supposed to wake up and do your puja and wash your mouth out and take bath and all that before you eat anything. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya said, no, this is Krishna's prasad. There's no rules and regulations. Above all other rules and regulations is to honor Krishna's prasad whenever it comes, however it comes. Lord Chaitanya said, the fulfillment of my mission for descending into this world has been fulfilled because a dry, speculative philosopher like Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya has appreciated Krishna's prasad. After some days, Lord Chaitanya told Nityananda Prabhu and the other devotees that he wanted to go to South India. But he wouldn't go without their permission. He's the controller of all controllers. Tumi Sarveshwareshwara Brajendra Kumar. It's the source of everything that exists. Ishvara Paramakrishna. The Supreme Controller is controlled by his devotees. Why is he asking permission? And throughout Lord Chaitanya's life, he asked permission before he took sannyas. He asked permission from his guru before he started the Sankirtan. And now he's asking permission and blessings to go to South India. Nityananda Prabhu, Mukunda, Damodar Pandit, each one said, I'll give you permission on the condition that I could come with you. But he had his reasons why none of them should come with him. So ultimately, Nityananda said, well, if you don't want to go with us, then at least take someone called Krishna Das. He's really quiet. You won't even know he's there. He'll just be there to assist you, to carry whatever you have, your water pot, and your mala, and extra set of copans. So he agreed. Then Lord Chaitanya with the devotees went to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya's house. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was so happy. He bowed down so many times. Lord Chaitanya picked him up. He said, my brother Vishwarup took sannyas. I want to find him. Please give me your blessings and your permission to go to South India. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya said, I have already wasted my whole life. Now I'm an old man, and I've attained your association, and you want to leave me? He said, if a thunderbolt were to strike my head, or if my own son would die, I could tolerate it. But I cannot bear separation from you. Still, I'm your devotee. And I only want what pleases you. And you're the independent Supreme Personality of Godhead to do anything you want. So if you want to go to South India, before you go, please stay at my house for some days to take prasad. Lord Chaitanya was ready to go that day, but he stayed 5 days at Sarvabhauma's house. And Sarvabhauma's wife, Sati Mata, she cooked for Lord Chaitanya. Wonderful, wonderful Prasad every day, and Sarvabhauma would serve it, and Sati Mata would prepare such wonderful, just what Lord Chaitanya would like. Then Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he asked Sarvabhauma, when you go back into your home, to worship Krishna while I'm away, please continue to give me your blessings. Srila Prabhupada really focuses on this. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is God. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is a sannyasi. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya is a jivatma, and he's a grihasta. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is sincerely begging for his blessings. While you're at home worshiping Krishna, please pray for blessings to be upon you. And Sarvabhauma agreed to do it because that's what pleased the Lord. After getting the blessings and permission of all the Vaishnavas, he went to Jagannath's temple, and there he begged Lord Jagannath for blessings, permission to leave. And just as he was asking, the pujari spontaneously took a mala, a garland from Jagannath's body, and placed it on Sri Chaitanya. With all the devotees, he went to Alalanath. On the way, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, after telling Lord Chaitanya, I give you my blessings, whatever you want, then Lord Chaitanya said, then I'm going. Sarvabhauma fell unconscious. Lord Chaitanya didn't even look back at him, he just kept going. When they came to Alalanath, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu raised his beautiful golden arms to begin kirtan. For hours and hours, all the devotees were chanting. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was dancing. So many people from all directions were coming. All the villages, soon there were hundreds of people, then thousands of people. They were all dancing. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, his compassion, whether it was Ratha Yatra in Puri, whether it was 1 million people, or whether it was at Alalanath, when he would dance, every single person who was there, the children, the babies, the men, the women, the old, the young, they could all see him dance. Inconceivable. And there's thousands of people around you. How could you see him? But he manifested himself in such a way that everyone could see him dance. The ecstatic symptoms of his limbs trembling and tears of ecstatic love and compassion pouring from his lotus-like eyes. And anyone who saw him immediately attained loving devotion to him eternally. Nityananda Prabhu was seeing this, and he made a prediction. Let this chanting and dancing expand to every town and village. Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport to this verse that Lord Nityananda was not only talking about the villages in India, he was talking about the villages, every village in the world. I thought with such compassion and humility, Srila Prabhupada tells that by Lord Chaitanya's mercy in the service of Lord Nityananda Prabhu, under the order of my Guru Maharaj, we have taken this chanting and dancing of Hare Krishna to the Western world. And we're seeing more and more, every town and village, people are accepting Lord Chaitanya's mercy. Srila Prabhupada's vision. Srila Prabhupada loved his young little daughter Mandakini. What was your age when you first were given this instruction?
21.
21, little French girl. Very sweet, very innocent, very enthusiastic. Srila Prabhupada would address his disciples, because he was in his 70s. We were in our teens or 20s. Srila Prabhupada would not call us men or women. He would call all of us boys and girls. Or sometimes he would write letters to temples. He would say, "My dear sons and daughters." And he really did love, especially those early when there was a very, very direct personal association. It was like that for all his disciples, for all, and all of his grand disciples. Prabhupada said, the grandfather is more merciful than the father. And he was telling us that Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur is more merciful to you than even I can be. So Srila Prabhupada, those who are grand disciples, Prabhupada's special mercy is upon all of you. And great grand disciples, very wonderful. So here is little Mandakini Devi doing her little puja, sitting in front of Prabhupada with that devotional smile. And Prabhupada asked her to go to Russia. It's not like going to Russia today. Krishna consciousness was illegal. There was only one devotee in the entire country, and that one devotee was only a devotee for a few days. And she didn't even know where he was. And Russia's a big country to try to find somebody. So Srila Prabhupada, he loved her more than we can ever understand what love is. Yet he was asking her to do something so dangerous, so difficult. But that was Srila Prabhupada's faith. In one sense, he really wasn't taking a risk. He had so much faith in the words of Lord Nityananda Prabhu. And with such humility, he understood the truth that Lord Nityananda Prabhu, through his Guru Maharaj, chose him to do this service of taking his message throughout the world. And he went to Russia himself. He wasn't doing something he wouldn't do. And he saw how hard it was. Srila Prabhupada's vision of giving this mission every town and village was with such depth and such faith in that higher power. Parama Karuna Pahundavijana. The famous story, he was in Atlanta, Georgia, sitting with devotees in front of the deities of Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda. Very large, 8-metal, brass-like deities in the center of the altar. And instead of Radha Madhava, he chanted this Parama Karuna. And he looked at the deities, he looked at the devotees. And it was just a few years before that he was on the Jaladuta praying to Krishna that unless you give me the words, no one will understand your message. I'm just a puppet. Make me dance as you want me to dance. Now he's seen so many temples, so many devotees. He took no credit. He looked at Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda and started to cry. It's by their mercy. It's by their mercy that all of you have come. And he loved us so much. He was crying to see how they were giving mercy upon us, opening the doors to the spiritual world, opening the doors to the eternal Vrindavan. The only thing he could say when he ended his class was the culmination of everything. Your choked up voice. Just chant Hare Krishna. And if you listen to that tape, you hear everyone very loudly chanting Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Then somehow or other Nityananda Prabhu diverted the kirtan so that Lord Chaitanya could go into the Radhanath temple and take prasad. And after he took prasad, more and more people were assembling. They all wanted to have the darshan of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Lord Chaitanya, they opened the doors, he gave darshan to everyone, then left for South India, with only Kal Krishna Das following behind. He went to Kurumakshetra. He went to Jayada Narasingha, Singhachalam. And then he remembered the last thing Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya requested of him before he left Puri. He said, while you're traveling in South India on the banks of the Godavari River, there is a place called Vidyanagar. And there, a great personality named Ramananda Rai is living. When I was a scholar without understanding your mercy, I knew Ramananda Rai. By caste, he's a Shudra. He appears very materialistic. He has a lot of opulence, a lot of royalty. He's the governor of the whole province of South India under Prataparudra. And he's a Vaishnava. And I just made jokes about him. I couldn't take him seriously. But now that I have received your mercy, I could understand there is no one like him. He's most highly realized. His knowledge, his realizations, his love. You will find such happiness meeting him. Please, I request you to meet him. Sarvabhauma was asking him to meet Ramananda Rai because he knew Lord Chaitanya would find such pleasure in the association of such a pure devotee. Lord Chaitanya promised him he would. What is the time? 7:15. What time should I end? wants me to continue. That's my interpretation. Mataji's, do you have to go? Or it's all right? Mataji, you're not going back to Italy, are you? Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went there especially for that purpose. He was so absorbed in chanting. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami tells of the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Wherever he was going, he was singing this simple song. Krishna, 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 Hare. Krishna, 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 Hare. Krishna, 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 Hare. Rama Raghava, Rama Raghava, Rama Raghava Rakshanam. Krishna Keshava, Krishna Keshava, Krishna Keshava Pahimam. And the Hare Krishna mantra. Whoever saw him dancing on these roadsides, they were so attracted to him, they would follow him. Common people, scholarly people, whoever there was, it was something they never saw before. He's dancing and chanting on these little pathways. They would follow him. He would turn around and ask them to chant. They would chant with him. Then he would turn around and embrace each one of them and tell them to. And when he embraced them, he infused their hearts with bhakti shakti, with the power of love for Krishna. He told them, go back to your towns, go back to your villages, and share this Harinam Sankirtan with whoever you meet. They would go back to their villages, the whole village would start chanting, get the same experience as that person who met Lord Chaitanya directly. If someone came to visit the village, they had that experience. They would go back to their village, and everyone would get the same experience as those who directly met Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami tells several times that Lord Chaitanya's message through his South Indian tour was always the same. There's no need to change your circumstance. Go back to your homes. Just hear about Krishna. Always chant Krishna's names and share this message of Krishna with others. When he came to the banks of the Godavari, he saw the Godavari as the river Jamuna. He saw the forests on the banks as the forests of Vrindavan. In ecstatic love, he took his bath in the Yamuna. He crossed over a place that is today called Kovur. And after bathing again there, he sat just a little behind the riverbank. Just about 3 days ago, I had an interesting thought. Srila Prabhupada gives us so many adventures in our life. I used to be at the bank of the Yamuna. I used to be at the bank of the Ganga. And 3 days ago I spoke at the Bank of England. difference between being at the bank of the Yamuna and the bank of the Ganga is, unlike the Bank of England, I wasn't surrounded by bankers. But I gave a talk. It was very nice. It was quite wonderful. And as I'm walking out, devotees told me that underneath this building is the gold deposit for the whole of UK. There's a lot of gold, I guess. The whole country's gold deposit. And suddenly, it didn't feel like it did before I heard that. I'm standing right in front of billions of pounds of gold. It's underneath the building. I was thinking, awareness really changes perception. Krishna's in our heart. He's listening to everything. He's seeing everything. He's feeling everything. He's waiting for us to turn to him. Before I became a devotee, before Prabhupada's mercy came upon me, I didn't know that anyone's in my heart. But our whole perspective of life changes when we know that Krishna's in our heart. And prema dhan. Dhan means wealth. The ultimate wealth of prema is within our hearts. And for most of the world, we just go along just groping and crying and lying and dying for some material pleasure. But we don't know that our real wealth is right within our heart, in that praying. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to remind us. The gold deposit under that building is insignificant compared because our bodies are like a building too. This little building of our bodies, within it is the greatest wealth. This chanting of Hare Krishna, association of devotees, and living in the spirit of devotion is like the key that opens the treasure. We are all the wealth. Each and every one of us is the wealthiest people in the entire creation. That's you. But until you connect to that wealth, you can't appreciate what God has given you. God given us. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was sitting on the bank of the Jamuna. By divine arrangement, music started playing. There was about 1,000 people in a procession around a palanquin. On top of the palanquin was the governor, Ramananda. Now, in those days in South India, there was much more ritual and protocol than the governor of Watford. I don't know where we are. It's very wealthy, dressed very beautiful, being carried in a royal palanquin. And there were so many Brahmins chanting mantras from the Vedas and hymns. They put the palanquin down, and this personality took his bath in the Godavari River. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu describes, his mind was running to the association of Ramananda Rai, but his body was patiently waiting. Ramananda Rai took his bath. When he came out, he happened to see this glowing, golden sannyasi sitting. Their eyes met. Ramananda Rai hurried over, offered his Dandavat pranams. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu lifted him up and asked, "Are you Ramananda Rai?" And Ramananda Rai said, "I am the servant of your servants. I am of the lowest caste." So that was his answer. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu embraced him, very tight embrace. Ramananda Rai and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, as they were embracing, tears were flooding from their eyes, bathing each other. Their limbs were trembling, their hairs were standing on end. Their voice was choked up, saying, "Hari Hari." And they practically fell unconscious in ecstatic emotion. Meanwhile, the Brahmins, they were seriously confused. They never saw anything like this. This sannyasi, why is he embracing and crying? A Shudra, a low-caste person. And Ramananda Rai, he's wealthy, he's powerful, he's scholarly. Why is he crying and trembling and embracing this Swamiji? We don't even know who he is. Srila Prabhupada explains how Lord Chaitanya is Krishna in the mood of Sri Radha's Mahabhav. And Ramananda Rai is Vishaka Saki, the most intimate associate of Sri Radha. And this was their first meeting in this incarnation. When Ramananda Rai and Lord Chaitanya saw how confused the Brahmins were, they somehow or other controlled themselves. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told Ramananda Rai that Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, because he is so merciful to me, he has directed me to meet with you, to hear from you. Ramananda Rai said, "I'm just a very low person. I don't know anything. But you are so beautiful and you are so merciful. I can see by your qualities and by the effect you're having on people that you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Just look at these Brahmins, these common people, these merchants, everyone around, all these thousands of people, they're all weeping in ecstasy. This is your effect on them." Lord Chaitanya said, "They're all weeping in ecstasy and love for Krishna because they're seeing you, Ramananda Rai. I'm just a Mayavadi sannyasi floating in Mayavad." They only wanted to glorify each other. Then they made arrangements to meet at night to discuss Krishna. For 10 days, every night, Ramananda Rai and Lord Chaitanya discussed. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took the role of a student. Again, Ramananda Rai is a Grihastha from a lower stratum of society. Lord Chaitanya is from the highest Brahmin caste, and he's a sannyasi. And yet he's inquiring from Ramananda Rai. Please tell me the ultimate perfection of life and how to achieve it. Ramananda Rai said, by performing one's duties according to the Varna and Ashram system for the pleasure of Krishna, one can attain the perfection of life. He cited some slokas. Lord Chaitanya said, that is external. Tell me something more. He said, by offering our skills, by offering the fruits of our actions for the service of Krishna is the perfection of life. Yat karoshi yadashnasi yajtrohoshi tatasi yat tapasyasi konti tat kurushoha. Lord Chaitanya said, that is external. Tell me something more. He said, by surrendering, by abandoning all varieties of religion, sarva dharma parityaja, and surrendering only for Krishna. That is the ultimate goal of life. Lord Chaitanya said, tell me something more. He said, devotional service mixed with speculative knowledge is the perfection of life. Bhaktaram jagatapasam sarvalokamaheshwaram suhridam sarvabhutanam gyatvam mam shanti vrichyate. When one attains the Brahman platform, nasochati nakangshati, one does not hanker for anything that they don't have. One does not lament for anything we don't have or we have lost. Suhrita sarvadehinam, and one is the best well-wishing friend of every living being. That seems to be a very high platform. Lord Chaitanya said that is external. Tell me something higher. He said, pure unalloyed devotion without any tinge of mixtures of karma or jnana, only for the pleasure of Krishna, is the ultimate goal of life. He gave some beautiful examples. Lord Chaitanya said, tell me something more. And he said, ecstatic love for Krishna is the perfection of life. Finally, Srila Prabhupada, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, that is very good. But tell me more. He said, loving Krishna in neutrality, Shantaras, is the highest perfection of life. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, tell me something higher. Loving devotional service in servitude, dasyaras, is the perfection of life. Please tell me more. What is higher than this? There's something higher than this. Loving devotional service in fraternal emotion. Sakya Bhav, loving Krishna as a friend. He cited from Srimad Bhagavatam how Sridhama would defeat Krishna in wrestling, and Krishna would carry Sridhama on his shoulders and tell everyone in Vrindavan, I have been defeated by Sridhama the coward. He cited the beautiful verse, even those great souls who have realized Brahman, who have attained all mystic yogic powers, who have accumulated all knowledge, they cannot understand how these simple cowherd boys, due to their devotion, they're playing with the supreme absolute truth, the personality of Godhead, as a friend. Mahaprabhu replied, what is higher than that? Please tell me. Vatsalya Bhav, the love of a parent. No one can understand the good fortune of Nanda Maharaj, who saw Krishna as his own son. And Krishna is seeing Nanda Maharaj's own father, Yashoda Mai. She's feeding Krishna with the milk from her own body. She's binding him with ropes to protect him from his own mischief. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, tell me what is higher than this? Ramananda Rai explained Madhurya Ras, conjugal love, the love that Krishna shares with his devotee of a lover and beloved. He cited the supreme example of the gopis of Sri Vrindavan Dham. How Krishna, he's so conquered by the love of the gopis that he admits that even in an entire lifetime of Brahma, with everything I have, I cannot repay you for your love. I'm forever subordinate to your love. I request you simply be satisfied by that love itself. Then he describes how during the Ras Lila of Sri Brajbhumi, Krishna disappeared from gopis, and he appeared to them when they all chanted with great love his holy names. Ramananda Rai explained that each of these aspects of love, Shantaras, Dasyaras, Sakyaras, Vatsalyaras, and Madhuryaras, each one contains all the qualities of all of the different emotions of love previous. In Dasyaras, it includes Santaras. In Sakyaras, it includes Santaras and Dasyaras. And even though Ramananda Rai says whatever relationship with Krishna we have, that is the supreme and the best for us. No one is going to convince Hanuman to be a gopi. Hanuman, for him, when Ram reveals himself to Hanuman, that's the ultimate supreme for Hanuman. There can be nothing greater. Even though he may see that the gopis are more intimate, still, Ram likes me like this, and this is his eternal bliss. So even though in whichever way, in whichever relationship we have with God, with Krishna in ecstatic love, that is the highest for us. From a neutral perspective, Madhurya Rasa of Gopis includes every other aspect of love of God. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu replied, that is very good, but I think there's something even greater than that. Ramananda Rai said, nobody ever is asked to understand something higher than that. But since you asked, I will explain. Of all the gopis, Srimati Radharani's love is supreme. Krishna was with all other gopis in the Rasa Mandala. He left them all just to show the world the supremacy of Sri Radha's love. He began to explain great details, the nature of Radha's love. She's the source of all love, the origin of all love. And her love always conquers Krishna. Krishna, the supreme conqueror, Achyuta. Lord Chaitanya said, what I have come here for, I have finally achieved. This knowledge is the highest. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then asked Ramananda Rai to explain deeper about the nature of Krishna, the nature of Radha's love, the nature of bhakti, the nature of rasa, the nature of the happiness of bhakti, of prema. Ramananda Rai wanted to intimate details. Lord Chaitanya praised him. Because Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya is like my father, he cares about me so much, he sent me just to hear these subjects from you. Ramananda Rai said, because because Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya is merciful to me, he sent you to bless me. He said, Ramananda Rai told, I'm like a puppet, and you are the puppeteer pulling my strings. My tongue is like a stringed instrument, and you are the player. Whatever my tongue vibrates is only coming from you. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami said, Lord Chaitanya is like the ocean, and Ramananda Rai is like a cloud that takes water from the ocean and then offers it back to the ocean. Lord Chaitanya said, no, I'm only a Mayavadi sannyasi. I don't know any of these things. Ramananda Rai, he said, I am seeing something. I am seeing something I want you to explain. First time seeing you as a sannyasi. And now, you have become Shamsundar, Krishna, with a dark complexion like Tamal tree playing a flute. And now I'm seeing you with a beautiful form like molten gold. I can understand that you are Krishna. And you are Srimati Radharani. As they were discussing, Ramananda Rai saw and expressed what he saw. You have incarnated in this world, Shamsundar Krishna, to taste the sweetness of the ecstasy of Sri Radha's love. Therefore I see Sri Radha's love entering deep into your heart. And tasting that love, your complexion has become golden with Sri Radha's complexion. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, because you're a great devotee, you're seeing Krishna everywhere. That's the nature of a pure devotee. I'm just a simple sannyasi. Krishna Gita says, for one who sees me everywhere and everything in me. One who loves Krishna because of that love sees the whole material world as Krishna's property. He sees Krishna in everything. He sees Krishna in everyone. So I can understand, Ramananda Rai, how elevated you really are. Ramananda Rai said, please don't trick me like this. You are Krishna who has come to taste of Sri Radha's love, and you've come to share Radha's love freely with everyone and anyone in this world who's willing to accept it. And upon seeing this darshan, Ramananda Rai fell unconscious. Lord Chaitanya touched him, and he came back to consciousness. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, except for you, no one has ever seen this form before. Because of your pure devotion and because you have pleased me so much with your narrations of Krishna's pastimes, I have revealed this form only to you. Do not disclose it to anyone. It's the most secret of all secrets. But Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami revealed it in Chaitanya Charitamrita, and our acharyas revealed it in Srila Prabhupada. In practically every major language in the world, he's revealed who Lord Chaitanya's identity truly is. And he's asked us to understand the value of what we've been given and to share it with each other, to share it with the world. Lord Chaitanya's relationships with all of his devotees, in the role of a devotee, was with such humility and appreciation. He would glorify his devotees sometimes as if he had 5 mouths, sometimes as if he had 1,000 mouths. He gave these simple principles to develop a true taste for the chanting of the holy names, to really enter into the spiritual world through the mood of service to Krishna's devotees on the basis of a higher principle. Trinadapi sunichena taror ivaseshna amani namana dena kirtanya sadhare. Unless we really aspire to emulate this verse, we cannot truly understand Lord Chaitanya's teachings or his gift to chant the holy names, to serve the devotees and Jivadvaya. He came to this world to spread this love. He himself said, I'm like a fruit vendor, and with my 2 hands, how much could I distribute these fruits of prema bhakti? He's asking every devotee, you will be most dear to me if you help to distribute these fruits to others. It begins with sharing them with each other as the Vaishnava community, and individually as a community to share it with the world. It's troubled times. As far as my study of history, whatever little, it's always been troubled times. Wars, terrorism, greed, hate, envy, lust, exploitation, and so many foolish, petty reasons to disagree and fight over nothing of any relevance. But if we're not attached to hearing and chanting the glories of the Lord and the higher principle of the purpose of life, then these insignificant, petty, useless things become enormous and invaluable, and we're willing to fight, hate, and declare wars over them. But as we taste the sweetness of absorption in Harinam and Hari Kirtan and Vaishnava Seva and Jiva Doya, we understand that nothing is of any significance in the light of this gift that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given. Krishna, coming to taste the sweetness of Radha's love, and she herself is distributing this love to the world. That's the gift Srila Prabhupada gave us, to share with each other and share with the world. Let us keep our minds and our hearts focused on the value of that gift. Satsang is necessary to keep us focused. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Sorry if I went over time, but I seem to have a habit of doing that.
Thank you very much, Maharaj, for sharing this.
Most of all, I wanted to come here. Actually, I didn't know what I was going to talk. I just started talking. But I forgot to tell you what I came here to tell you. How deeply grateful I am to each and every one of you for receiving this great blessing of Srila Prabhupada and our acharyas. Manusyanam sahasreshu kashchid yatati siddhaya yatatamapi siddhanam kashchid mambeti darpada. It's so rare. Durlabha manavatam. So rare to get a human life. So rare to have the association of devotees. Each and every one of you is such a rare, precious, special soul. For opening your hearts to connect with Lord Chaitanya's mercy. So please understand that in yourself. It shouldn't make us proud, it should make us really humble. Humbled that this gift has come upon us. And recognize this exalted gift in each other. That is Vaishnava community. When we recognize our own limitless good fortune, we recognize its limitless good fortune in each other. And together we share this limitless good fortune. That is my sincere request. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hari
Thank you very much, Maharaj, for sharing this wealth of Srila Prabhupada's Leela, Vrindavan Leela, Lord Chaitanya's Leela. Thank you so much. So I've been asked to make a few announcements. 9 o'clock we're supposed to clear the hall. So we might require help. So please come and see devotees because we'll have to clear up. So there will be help required. Second, those who are getting initiated, or accepting initiation tomorrow, please see His Grace Ananta Gopal Prabhu for your passes or tickets, as I understand. So please see Ananta Gopal Prabhu. Thank you very much. Sorry. So next we are going to have Kirtan. Doing this for the first time, I'm making so many mistakes. So next we're going to have Kirtan and then Prasadam. At the same time. At the same time.
Good. Perhaps Maharaj and God sisters could give a little message to everyone. Everyone, please be seated. Most important part of your good fortune is coming up. His Holiness Chandramali Maharaj and my dear God sisters assembled will speak some small message to everyone.
Remember everything Radhanath Swami said tonight. For a long time.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Just such a blessing to be here tonight, and such a good fortune, because although we are devoted, although I'm aspiring to be a devotee, sometimes life is challenging, and such moments are to be kept like a treasure, because they give us strength for so long to be listening to His Holiness Radhanath Swami, and to see all the young generation give so
to come into the association of the saints, of those who are questing Srila Prabhupada's grace and the grace of the lineage of Mahaprabhu, and taking shelter of our dear Radhanath Swami Maharaj. It is, as Mandakini said, it is our good fortune to come and to witness Srila Prabhupada's mission growing, and to take to heart what we have received today, and to pray that we might always have the opportunity to take the lotus dust of the feet of the Vaishnavas. This is the grace, this is the gift of our Guru Maharaj, and we all have an opportunity to share that with the world. Hare Krishna.
Share all we learn from Maharaj, and I feel so fortunate to be here, and please bless us, bless me, that I may try to take Radhanath Maharaj's mood of serving the Vaishnava and chanting the holy names, and in a humble way, and serve the Vaishnava is the most important thing. Hare Krishna, thank you.
Kirtan. Kirtan.
All babies, please come back. the organizers, we should have kirtan. Everyone please dance.
Krishna Krishna Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatyadi Satharine Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama,